Hey guys, this is John Box. Oh, this is such an exciting episode. If you guys are tuning in for the very first time, you guys gotta smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. No quirky intros today. I'm here with a new legend. Today's the day that your legend begins, alright? This is Pack official TCG.
What's up, guys?
Welcome
It's Pac
to
here.
the channel. This is your second time here.
Second time here, yeah.
Second
we
time
did
here.
a video together the last time, which
Dude,
was
that
really
was
cool
hot.
about,
That was a
like-
hot video.
Yeah,
People
I
loved
did really well.
It did.
Yeah, people loved it.
People loved it. So this is where your legend begins. Your legend has already started at some point, but this is we're putting it. We're dating it here today. So we're featuring your deck profile in this basically Dragon Link trading card game. You stood out among all the people. You're literal champion right here. You won what? One mini giant card and
Yeah,
another
one-
giant card.
Yeah. So this past weekend, I played into two giant card events, Saturday and Sunday. I got second at the Saturday, and then I got first at the Sunday one. So yeah, in a field full of Dragon Link, I decided to play something completely, I guess, I don't know, unorthodox.
Well,
But
achievement.
it all makes sense. Yeah.
Achievement unlocked, Dragon Slayer Pack.
Yep.
That's one of your titles for sure, because you killed so many Dragon Links. And I was judging the event, and I got to witness it, and boy, was it entertaining. It was hella entertaining, guys. And
Yep.
the list itself was surprising. So many unorthodox text in there that people wouldn't even consider as a card to play. Like,
Yeah.
they just thought that there was no value in this. We will be going through the deck list. We'll be even talking about how you victimized all of these Dragon Link players. They had no chance. You basically put their deck on a discount. It was a bargain bin trade. They're like, oh, 2-for-1s, more like 1-for-4. Like,
Yep.
it was a complete disaster on their end. They were getting completely ripped off in terms of card value. Once we get to that
Yeah.
deck list, you know what? We can go through the deck list right now, and then we will go through your victims list. It's actually quite entertaining. But yeah, let's start off
So-
with your monster count here. Yeah, take it
Yeah.
away.
So we'll start off with the main deck monsters. One Ecclesia, two Golden Lords, and then three Gammas and one Driver. So that's all I played for my main monster count.
That,
As
like,
you can see, it's very small. It's a very small package.
it's a very small package. I had the pleasure of doing the deck check, and
The deck checks. Yep.
definitely one of the more entertaining ones for me,
Yeah.
for sure, because this is very different. Looking at this, like, I would expect you to draw a handful of traps every single game.
Yeah, I usually draw 4 to 5, like hands of 4 to 5 trap cards in my starting hand going first, and then like 4 to 5 trap cards with one spell card going second. So these cards are only there. Like these are cards you don't want to draw. You want to get access to them with Sanguine, and this is off Nadir. So they're not bricks really, but they're cards that you don't really want to see. Obviously Lord is amazing going second, but not as well going first. And then
Only
this
one
is, like-
Ecclesia though. That was
Yeah.
kind of interesting because, like, you know how most
Yep.
other decks. Oh, I wanna play with the Ecclesia.
Yeah.
Although it has
So-
been a
yep.
trend to kind of tone down the numbers lately.
Yeah, exactly. Because the logic is like Ecclesia is not a card that you want to open. It's a card that you want to get access to. So if that's your logic and your reasoning, then you want to just play cards that get to it, not more cards of it. And then for the Gamma package is this was not really a hand trap in my opinion. This was another trap. And what I mean by this is this is a card that ensures your trap card resolves going second. Like I never Gamma my opponent like when they combo. I'm like, because realistically it doesn't end their turn. Right? If you're going to be playing hand traps, you have to either play enough to make sure that it stops your turn. Why this is a pseudo trap is that I can set 5 and then have this ensure that torrent resolve or like, you know, punishment resolves, etc., etc. But I'll explain that more when I get to it. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
and
much how this list
I
works.
guess one thing to note about the one Ecclesia is if you only have one Ecclesia, you can still play with 3 Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant fetches from the graveyard, so it's
Exactly,
recyclable.
yep.
All right, let's
Yep,
keep going.
exactly.
So yeah, really small monster count.
Yep. And then we'll get into the spells. I only play spell cards that says +1 at a minimum. So these are the 7 spell cards as well. So 7 main monsters, 7 spells. I played triple Extravagance, a card that people forgot about, Demise, and then triple Nadir. So I'll start off with Extravagance. Well, not really. I don't have to explain this, right? No brainer. Draw 2 cards. It's better than Prosperity and Duality because that's something that people might ask. So I want to answer that preemptively. It draws you 2 cards, and that's more important than Prosperity because you're not really looking for cards like combo cards or cards to break your opponent's boards. You're just looking for any 2 cards in your deck because they're all like insane and they trade really good value. So you just care about seeing more cards than 1 card. Demise is a card that, I mean, you draw 3. So there's not much to say. Or if you do draw 2, it's still a Pot of Greed, so that's fine. And this card never really conflicts with Lord because Lord can add itself back from the grave and then use Lord effect to like hit your opponent's back row, which came up for me in the finals.
Okay.
I like demise. I drew Lord for turn, then I demise for 2, and then I like drew a Curse Sanguine, so I just like start picking apart his board, which is nice. And then
Yep.
3 Nadir because this card gets access to punishment, and punishment in this deck is not like punishment in any other deck. And I would say that punishment in this deck is better than punishment in Shaddoll decks.
For sure.
Because of
It-
its utility.
Like it has zero conflict when it comes to, and I
Yes,
actually saw.
there's 0 restrictions.
Like,
Yep.
I guess one very exciting part that you guys should watch all the way to the end for is the extra deck. That extra deck,
Yep.
the way that I watch you use your extra deck is very different. It's something. It's something else. I don't
Yeah.
even know. It's not
Yeah.
part of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's something. It's like a different concept
like
altogether.
the way I beat my opponent in the finals of Sunday Giant card was I went punishment, target my opponent's gravity controller. I sent an Omega. This is all during my turn. I used Omega effect to shuffle my opponent Rush it all. And it's because he was looping Rush with Construct. Then I went Lord Summon itself and attacked over his Construct, and Construct couldn't add anything back from the grave. Like it's like those type of like utility plays. And that was game 1. But even like in other games, you'll see some of the tech cards I put in to make Nadir and punishment like absolutely insane.
You maximize the value of Nadir and punishment.
Yeah.
That is something I can vouch for. It was very exciting to actually see a lot of it happen. Even your side deck was really quirky as well.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much spice in here. It would literally burn a hole in my stomach,
Yeah.
and I'd go to the hospital again.
I would
That's
have
how
to
much
give a
spice-
huge shout out to Gabriel Susi though. He's a French streamer. Gabe YGO is his Twitch. He was the one who kind of like brought this deck to my attention, and
Mhm.
I'm someone who always tests decks and never like really say they're bad until I find that out for myself. And so I have to give a huge shout out to him for basically making this list. And like I theoried with him on a lot of it, so I really have to give credit to him. And also Triff, funny enough, because he was actually the person who kind of like revolutionized the idea of like playing Elik with a lot of trap cards and just winning off that. He actually like started this 2 formats ago, and so we basically like brought it back. So
And speaking of
Absolutely,
shoutouts,
definitely.
don't forget to check out Pax YouTube, Pax Twitch. Go check out his Twitch. Link in
Yep.
the description. Link is probably on screen right now. And go subscribe, go follow, do all of the social media stuff. And don't forget to do it for my channel to give me a little bit of love too,
yeah,
guys.
exactly.
All right.
But
All
now
right.
we're gonna get into the rest of like the purple cards.
Yeah,
Purple
here we
Rain,
go.
as I call this deck. So we're
Purple
gonna start
Rain,
off with
here
the
we
Elik
go.
engine.
Three,
So I only
three,
played
two.
3 Scarlet, 3 lands, and 2 Aquarel. So the thing to ask is immediately, why is no 3 Aquarel? Because Aquarel is not that amazing this format. You get it when you need it, and that's it. And it's also only 5 golden lands, and you'll notice that I don't play L land. And I explained a lot of the reason why, because going second, L land is just a card that gets immediately negated, right? Like they're gonna negate the activation of it, which means that like it's a card that you just hand loop yourself for, instead of like setting 5. Also, like you don't want to like you don't want to play L land because these cards are realistically like they're trap cards that just don't do anything. Like
Mhm.
really when you open them, but they get you to engine, and one land gets you the entire Elik engine. So you just need to like basically stop your opponent from playing, and put this in the grave, and then start poking with like Lord. That's
Mhm.
basically how the deck works. It's basically like an anti-meta beatdown deck, and so that's
Okay.
why like I didn't really play L land, because getting like when you L land and you get golden lands, you're basically getting a dead trap. And I basically blocked one of my zones for other good trap cards. I blocked a zone with L land, which I can't send to the graveyard because I'm not playing Zulich. I can't Dryden it away. And then I also like have to set that golden land. So now I've only have 3 zones available, and it makes my trap trick even more awkward. So
Okay.
there's a lot of reasoning and logic to why we don't play that as well. But that's pretty much it for the 8
It's
Elik cards.
budget outlook. The
Yeah.
most expensive card is not in there.
And then more trap cards. Solemn Strike. There's not much to say. It ends chains, and that's really important because it basically makes it so that all your other cards resolve. I mean, this card is just absolutely nuts.
I love how your deck is
Uh,
mostly max rarity except for your Eldritch. All your
Yeah,
Eldritches
I
are-
actually, funny enough, I actually like the Golden Lord, like how it looks.
Golden
That's
Lord.
what's
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Let him blink.
Now for the
Broken
spice.
line. What
3
the
broken
hell?
line. People are probably like, "What the hell, man?" But this is a counter trap, and if you guys don't know what this card does, is it negates any spell or trap card and/or monster effect that activates in this card's column. It negates the activation of that and destroy the card. So I decided to play this because it's a card that when you go second, you can set it underneath Savage. You can set it underneath Heretic Seal as well. Most of the time you don't because they'll tribute it at an end phase, but you set it underneath where the negate is, and then you basically get to guarantee resolve your torrent, your punishment, any of your very impactful like trap cards like IDP, and that's why it's just really really strong. Also going second, you can set it against any back row deck, right? Just place it under the column and it turns off that column effectively. If you open 2, you can set it underneath both extra monster zones, turning off any link plays they can do. And it's a card that people don't expect. When you set 5, right, you set Broken Line in the middle going first, because people just instinctively just play their card in the middle column. I actually Broken Line someone's Lightning Storm when I set 5 because, you know, he just, you know, like didn't think of it too much and just activate the card in the middle column. And now that this card is known, people are now gonna have to worry about Broken Line too.
Yo, you're making column play. This is like next level Mech Knight shenanigan.
Yeah. Because like, other things that I was doing, what that was even crazier was like I would set this. If I had to choose between one of the extra monster zones once they start playing around it, I would put this underneath their what like most people are right-handed. So when people link summon, they'll summon a link monster on their right EMZ. So I just started placing wherever their right hand is, and then just placing the Broken Line like
that's
right here.
So next level meta. Like and you're considering their handedness.
Yeah, you see most of the time people summon in the right EMZ because it's also the EMZ that gives you the most versatility for doing link plays, especially with LP too. Yes, so like it just like was really really good all the time. I actually won a game that I was not supposed to win because I set a Broken Line in here actually, and that allowed me to like my opponent just nonchalantly summoned it in the main monster zone in here, and then I just like Broken Line my opponent's Constellar Platomi M7. And he had no resources back, so he just auto lost. But yeah, this card is really, really insane.
Very perfect Omni Negate column-based counter trap. Awesome.
Yep. 3 Ice Striking Prison. Not much to say. This is a trap card that goes 1 for 2, and I play a lot of cards that say 1 for 2. The reason why I play Broken Line and Strike, even though they're not 1 for 2, is because they end chain links, and that's really, really important.
See, like I said, this is putting your opponent's deck on discount. You always trade for the plus.
Oh my god. Yeah, Dogmatic Punishment. This card is ridiculous in this deck. Yo, this card is a +1 every single time. And it's just like way too crazy. There's so many things that this card do because of what I put in my extra deck. I can draw a card with this. I can shuffle my opponent's card back into the graveyard. I can pop 2. I can, you know, get... if I don't open Ecclesia or Nadir, I can send to Tentaclad and get Ecclesia and can get another punishment. So it's like it literally gives me access to Engine. It's just like crazy if I don't open Nadirs or Ecclesia.
It was very, came up for me. I think I witnessed you activate all 3 of them in one of your games, each one fulfilling a different purpose. Yeah, that was how exciting it was. One was to rip a card out of your opponent's extra deck or a graveyard to like basically cut their combo off. One was to double pop, and then there was another one which was even more different to cycle your own card.
Yeah, I actually, like, you'll see this in the extra deck, but I play a card called Tri-Brigade Flaget, which people normally play in the Tri-Brigade strategy, right? But what people don't know is that card is actually framed or worded the same way as, like, Shaddoll Monsters, where it says if this card is sent to the graveyard, it doesn't care how. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card and put 1 back. So there was a play that came up for me where I set 3 and I passed. I had 2 cards in my hand, Card of Demise and a Dead Driver. So what I did was I knew that if I can stop my opponent from playing with, like, IDP and Strike, I needed to basically Dogmatic of Punishment, send a Flaget, draw a card, put back the driver, set it, and then on my turn, I can then go +3 with the Demise and make sure that I go like draw 3 instead of draw 2 with Demise and make sure that I win on the follow up. Yeah. So just those type of plays that you can do with this is really good.
Man, you're ruining the market. Every single card you show here is like changing in price, especially those Broken Lines. You're just causing buyouts left and right.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have...
quote-unquote Nishi, go watch this video.
This card, my goodness. I mean...
One of my favorites.
I mean, there was one game where my opponent double twin twistered me at end phase against a Dragonlink player. He hit all real trap cards. The only unreal trap card that he hit was a Conquistador, which got me Sanguine. So I passed on a Sanguine and a Trap Trick. My opponent was playing Dragonlink, right? I cracked his entire board with just Sanguine at end phase, activate Torrential Tribute, and he just... immediately lost the game.
He cried.
So this card is like a +4, +3 half the time. It's just like too ridiculous.
I love how you can self-trigger this card.
Yeah, this deck self-triggers this really well. Like people forget like your lands, your Conquistador, your Aquaros triggers this, and that's how you win a lot of games, making sure that you trigger this when you want it to happen too, instead of waiting for your opponent. And then the last 3 Trap Trick. I mean, this searches any traps in your deck, so
love it.
You play it.
you know I love this card. You know, I played the Trap ABC. I love the deck already. I've run so many of those cards. Okay. Now, before we continue, if you guys want to check out this beautiful mat, you guys can check it out at ImperiumDuelist.com. This is my personal design. You have a copy of it. Is it nice? Don't you just love both sides?
I really like this mat. I personally like the blue more than the red, but that's just like me. But I really like it. It's really good for remote dueling or if you're aspiring Twitch streamer as well because there's zones. Especially if you're playing Broken Line, you want to make sure that you have like good zoning, right? So there's no confusion at all.
Was there any confusion with Broken Line, especially
Nope.
with like mirrored or anything?
Nope.
Okay,
No one tried it because if they did, I made sure that like when my opponent played a card, I always asked them, please put it in the right, because I played a lot of people that placed it like in between. I'm
That's
like,
annoying,
please
right?
choose in the middle or like in under actually the Mentor zone, and they were all confused. They're like, why does that matter? And they got broken line. So that's why it mattered.
They got
Yeah.
wrecked. All right.
So we'll start off with the Ghost BLS. Shout out to Susu for this. He let me borrow it. I
You
do
still
one
have
for me
it.
in the mail. I promise. I still have it, but this card.
Love you,
is in
Susu.
theory- yeah, love you, Susu. Yo, this card is in theory really strong because it's a card that is indestructible with gold when you link off the Golden Lords. So I play it just because it's a really good boss monster.
Mhm.
Then I play the Spice that I was talking about, Flajet. Draw a card, cycle a card, really good. Actually, in top 4 of the Sunday Giant card, this card actually won me the game because I Nadir serve it into this. I drew a Solemn Judgment and put back my Golden Lord because I don't want it in my starting hand, and that Judgment actually like judgmented my opponents evenly. So that's literally how I won.
You're literally changing the card to that price because now it has even more demand.
Yeah.
Oh my
Then we
god.
play Nightmare Phoenix utility card.
Yep.
Basically, there are times where when you link off your Ecclesia and like a land, you pop a back row, and then you put Ecclesia in the graveyard so you can activate a deer. It's just good utility.
Mhm.
2 Link Spiders. One of them could be Imduct as well, but I played 2 because I didn't own the Imduct. Basically, linking off your lands. Not much to say.
How could you not
that's
own
all-
it? You have like max rarity everything right now, and you don't have
I
a
have no
common
idea.
Imduck.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll get into the fusions now. So
Triple
Triple
Intest.
Intist. I mean, there's a no-brainer. My opponent in the finals of the Giant card was playing Dogmatica Invoke Shaddolls. He Maximus me, and well, let's just say it did not end well for him. Just because like my extra deck, against Maximus is like too insane. So the Triple Intist, because of punishment, because of Nadir's, just a card that's really strong. So you max it out.
So he
because you play
activated.
Extrav.
He basically gave you the game the moment he activated the Maximus.
Yeah, it was too insane. Like, I mean, he goes +2 in theory, but I just got +2 for doing nothing. So, and then we play 1 Titanic Clad, 1 App Cologne. So these are other cards that I play for Nadir's Titanic Clad because, like I said, if you don't have access to punishment, I mean Nadir's or Ecclesia, you send this and then you loop and you would special summon Ecclesia at end phase. So,
Okay.
or you would add it to your hand if you activate Sanguine because you're locked under zombies.
All right.
And then App Cologne because you're gonna see my side deck. I actually side a Shadow card that makes this card insane.
But right now it
Then
doesn't have any targets.
Right now, it does not have any targets.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fine. That's fine.
Lastly, I play Last Warrior for Waking the Dragon. Obviously, I don't actually make this card, hard make it. So that's the last fusion card. Actually, the second one, not having the second one actually came up in the finals of the Saturday Giant card, but I mean,
Oh,
I think
yes.
having one was fine.
That one was a very exciting game to watch. Like, to give you guys a little
Yeah.
bit of a backstory, you didn't actually. Okay, after deck check, your deck got shuffled, and then
Yeah.
you opened. I believe you actually got 2 Waking the
I bricked.
Dragons. You bricked. You bricked
Yeah.
pretty bad. You actually got to 2
Yeah.
Waking the Dragons. You managed to summon off 1 Last Warrior, which got cleared
Yeah.
off, and then
It got cleared
you-
off.
the second one also managed to resolve, which would have won you the game if you had a second copy, but you didn't
Yeah.
because the other one
Yeah.
was out of gas already. The other guy was out
Yeah,
of gas.
Because I cleared my opponent's board with Torrential. He was able to beat over this because he had an outstanding levy from the turn before, but I cleared his board. He cleared this, and then he popped my Waking the Dragon again.
Mhm.
And I could have summoned a second one if I did have it, but instead I had to summon a Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon instead, which was okay. It stalled a turn, but this card was here only for the trap deck matchup, which actually came in the Sunday Giant card event. This Cosmic Cyclone my Waking the Dragon, and I summon Ultimate Falcon, and 35 every turn. They can't out it.
They
It's just
died.
unaffected by everything. So what can you do?
They got a minus.
Yeah, and then we have Constellar Pleiades as my second XYZ. So you see, like, the extra deck is very colorful. You play literally links, fusions, XYZs. So Pleiades is basically for when you have double lands. There's hands where like you do open like multiple lands, so you just want to have this as an option. It actually came up for me like 3 times, so I'm really happy I have it in my extra deck.
All right,
And then we
uncuttable.
play for Synchros, Omega and Wind Pegasus Agnister. So Omega is because there's a lot of times where you actually you Gamma on your own turn because of Extravagance. Also, like, because of Nadir. I mean, you're locked on your extra deck, but You can also just send this off punishment and like shuffle your opponent's back row. A lot of people don't realize I played against a Dragon Link player who didn't realize this was not once per turn. He Appalooza'd it and I did it again. He was like, wait, what? Very, very strong card. You want to do this because, especially going second, you want to shuffle back their levy back to the extra deck or their safe route, just so that you don't give them access to it again. You most of the time you shuffle the safe route, not the levy, because they can Heretic Seal at end phase and then summon the Brotar effect will just get them the levy. So this is like the reason why you want to shuffle back the safe route. And even against Shaddolls, you shuffle so much. And then this card, which is another, this card actually also won me the Shaddol matchup. I played against 2 Shaddolls. This was really insane too because one of my opponents went Dragon, popped my back row. I chained punishment targeting his gravity controller, and I sent Agnister on resolution because one of my cards got destroyed. I banished Agnister from my graveyard to target his Shaddol construct to shuffle it back into his extra deck, so he doesn't get the value of adding back cards from his graveyard. So that by itself also wins me a lot of games. Where like you have to think about like when they go when they try to pop your back row, think about how like your punishment can send this, and then you can on resolution activate this to shuffle your opponent's cards, which is like really really insane. The shuffling is more important than destruction, especially when it comes to like decks like Shaddolls, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Dude,
it.
this is insane. Even if we play against like a Shaddol deck, it's not like they can capitalize off of their Shaddol fusion. You don't leave a lot of these guys on board. Like at most, I would say like it's BLS or nothing.
Yeah. I'll talk. Yeah, in the finals of the Sunday Giant card where I played against Shaddolls, I made him burn through his entire extra deck. He had 0 cards left in his extra deck. So he went through every Winda, every App Colonia, and every construct, and all of his invoked extra deck monsters: Raijin, Mechaba, and Nagoides. So
Oh man.
this deck really outgrinds you. Like I mean, I just keep trenching IDP. Like they just run out of resources, and I'm just sitting there attacking them every turn with the Golden Lord effect. So it's really really tough.
Dude, I got to see basically all of this.
Yep.
It is exactly as you said. I watch your plays. I watch you make your decisions. Like you're not even slow on your decision making. A lot of time people are like, oh, they look at all their cards like, oh, what does that do? What does this do? You're pretty consistent on how quickly you resolve all your cards. Like oh, you tell them exactly what you're looking for. Oh, I'm just checking if you have this card in your graveyard. You literally tell them what you're looking for. So then they fan it out. They don't have it. Like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna do anything. Yeah, that resolves. Like, and you're really quick. And to be like a control player, this is what you need to be like, or else you're gonna get called on slow play. It's just something that did not occur to you. In fact, you played very smoothly.
I didn't get a single slow play warning. In fact, my opponent in the finals actually got the slow play warning, which is really ironic actually. But yeah, no. Usually that's the thing I want to tell people. Like, if you're playing a control deck, you have to know your opponent's deck as well as they do, if not better. Like, I remember in top 4 of Saturday, I played against John, who's playing Dragons, and I literally like told him, okay, so now you're gonna banish this and summon your monster, bring this back, and then do all this, and he literally did all the plays I was saying. Which is like kind of insane because like, but that comes with like, you know, time and learning the format and knowing other people's decks. Because I play like such a wide range of decks, like there's no deck that really surprised me. And I think I encourage a lot of people to, you know, try new things outside of your comfort zone. Like you don't have to just play Dragons, you don't have to play just Shaddolls. Like play things that are different, that are new, and that makes it so that it's very hard for you to lose like rogue matchups.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, the biggest advantage rogue players have against meta is that they take you by surprise.
For side deck.
Oh yeah, side deck. Okay, let's do side deck. Yeah.
Yep. 2 anti-spell and IO. Make this quick. Says no to blowout cards because you're a trap deck. Duster, reboot. You know, lightning storm.
You got Duster for 5 in one game.
I got Duster for 5 and I won.
You won the game too. I did. I was there. It was insane.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Yeah. Basically all that Duster did was it condensed all the interactions into that one instance. But you managed to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, I got Dustered again. A Dragon Link player like top deck Duster, of course, you know, they always do when they're on no cards. And then I literally, I think I went up to like chilling 4 with all my back row and still won the game, even though I like got Dustered, which was like insane. Like I cracked his board, and then he top deck Dustered like cracked my back row, and then I chained a bunch of cards, which made it so that even though he Dustered me, I was able to like get all my chain links in one go. Like for example, like going chain link 1 Sanguine, chain link, or like chain link 1 Duster, chain link 2 Sanguine, chain link 3 IDP. Avoiding like the zombie restriction, right? Like things you have to think about, and chain link 4 punishment, just like those type of cool things that like makes it so that even if they do hit your back row as you get set up, it's fine. More stuff. 3 Heavy Storm Duster. That's basically for like trap decks. It's actually really good against Shaddolls too. You can hit the Magical Meltdown, and you can hit like their back row.
Very important.
Very important cards. Trap Trick Wolf, you have 6.
Oh my
and you
god,
play 3
no.
Witcher Strike. The sauce.
The sauce.
Yeah.
So how many times did you use this against your opponent?
Uh,
How many
I
times did
resolved
you
this-
use? Yeah.
Three times in the Saturday card, and that's how I 2-0'd like 3 Dragon Link players in a row. We'll talk about my matchups soon, but yeah, every time I drew this card against Dragon Link, they lost the game. If you guys don't know what this card does, I said this card a lot going second against Dragon Link. I even decided in against an Invoke Elik matchup because the Mechaba can get activations. And against even like the trap matchups, right? Like I put this in still because they have Solemn Judgment against a Paleo deck. They had Solemn Judgment, and then they have Toad. A lot of stuff didn't get activation. I actually played one game where I got belled and then I Witcher Strike my opponent for everything he had. So there's just so many interactions with this that makes it so strong, so strong. Very
Dude,
underrated card.
after you talked about it on stream, you caused the buyout on the card.
Yeah, I did. Unfortunate, man. People are savages.
Yeah,
but
people are savages. Yeah.
this card is insane, absolutely insane. I mean,
I wish
I'll
I got
tell
to
you
see
why
it.
it's
I
really
didn't
strong
get to
against
see it, but I'll
Yeah.
take your word for it because it is
Yeah.
exactly as you say. Because there's just so many things that people want to protect with their savages, their
Yep.
basically any of their activation-based negation. There's just so many of them, and they just
Yeah, they're
never
always
considered
scared.
this.
Yeah.
Like you
They're always
trap tricked
scared.
into one of them too, haven't you?
Yep, I trapped. Actually, I did that. There was one sequence where, I activated a bunch of chain links, and then the last chain was a trap trick into the Witcher Strike to win the game against, an Elik player.
Ooh.
The other thing with Witcher Strike that makes this like an FTK against Dragon decks too is because, if you think about it, when you wipe the entire hand, they can trigger Brotar. They have no cards left in this hand, so like Brotar doesn't do anything. So like they still like just like lose the game immediately.
It gets
just
banished.
yeah.
Like
and
after
gets banished,
it gets banished after with nothing, and it's not even protected. Ooh,
Yep.
that's just terrible.
Yeah, this card is just too insane.
Big Spice.
Then we have 2 Waking the Dragon. I think that's expected. You guys saw the Waking the Dragon targets. Basically 5 with Trap Trick, right? So they're there just for like when they hit your back row, you want to punish them and have a win con set up for when they lightnings from you. And then the 15th card is Ariel. This is a card that caught a lot of people off by surprise. They didn't expect me to have Ariel. But against Elik player, I banished all 3 of his Golden Lord, or his entire Elik engine. I banished it with Ariel and IDP, so he had no lords, and I was able to win a game that I was never winning.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was a very
Yeah.
interesting interaction because you actually worked around.
I hard
it.
drew this.
You hard drew
Yeah.
it, and you set it on the field. You forced your own torrential to go off just so that you can
Yep.
get rid of all the Golden Lord. He did manage to
Yeah.
save one, but then you had a backup plan to get rid of it.
So here's exactly what happened. I hard drew this card and I just set it, right? And I had Torrential and IDP set, and I passed. And no, and a Golden Land. My opponent has double Lord on the field and a name, and they went straight battle phase and then like attack. And I'm like, before like at the start of a battle, I'm gonna activate a land, activate Torrential, blow up the entire board, trigger Ariel. Ariel, I'm gonna target 2 Lords and a name, and then my opponent chains Sanguine to summon back one of the Lords. I'm like, okay, that resolves. And then after everything resolved, I activate IDP. I summon back his Ash, then banish his last Lord. And then I have one more land, and that I basically just started attacking with.
You had
1800
Queroed
every
him
turn
to
with my Quero.
death at that
And the
point.
craziest thing about all of that was he actually already banished both my Lords. He actually made a misplay. He actually added Conk instead of Quero, but then he top deck L land to get access to a Quero, so I got punished. But it ended up not mattering because I banished his Lords back. But then I had beaters that he didn't have access to because he ran off his engine faster than me because he plays L land.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's go over your victims list. These are all the people that you slaughtered. I don't
Yeah.
think it was even fair. I watched all of them kind of die a little inside every single time their combo was trying to go off. And then
Yeah.
you just traded 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 4. It was pretty disgusting. Like this is kind of like how you took old school Yu-Gi-Oh, like where the pluses do matter and you made it
Yep.
count. Like back
Yeah.
nowadays people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's always about the tempo. But you found
Yep.
those critical moments where it was devastating to actually eat a trap like that. So let's start off with your very first event that kind of caused you to be late. Your
Okay,
Winamax.
so I'll talk to you about
Dude,
my
you
journey
can do this
within
one-
this extravaganza. So I
Yeah.
played a Winamax, and I played double. I'll play a Prank Kid and double Dragon Link. I won the entire thing, but that caused me to be late because the Giant card started. So I had to take a game 1 loss, playing the Giant card on Saturday, and I played my opponent who was playing Dragon Link, and then I 2-0'd him even though I got a game 1 loss. So that was kind of crazy into the Giant card. And then I just after that I played Eldritch. and then I played 4 Dragon Link in a row all the way to the finals. So that was pretty much Saturday for me.
I'll give
I
a shout
killed
out
every
to
Dragon player.
I'll
Yeah.
give a shout
What's up?
out to was it William Candia.
William.
Yeah. Well, he won the entire event, the main event the day after.
Yep.
And he also won the
He
giant.
won the
card.
giant card by beating me in the Saturday giant card event, and then he won the Sunday main event. So yeah, he shouts to him. Yeah, I mean he rebooted me, and I think like out
That
of
was it.
all the games I played from Thursday till Sunday, I only have 2 losses, and they were all to reboot. So that's a problem that a deck will have. I mean, it's 8% of the time people will draw it, so you have to either have the out or not, and it's unfortunate. So there's nothing you can do.
Mhm.
So there's that.
But then you have giant card day 2. So day
Yeah.
1 was Dragon Link City. You played Prank Kids, Dragon Link,
Yeah.
Eldritch, Dragon Link,
Yep.
Dragon Link. So definitely this is the deck. If you hate Dragon Link and you believe yourself to be a smart player, then try it out. If you're not a smart player, don't try this deck. You will trip over your own plays, because if you look within the deck, there are a lot of things that can trip yourself up, like setting Broken Line at the wrong spot, such as incorrect timing of IDP, locking yourself into zombies. There's a lot of little intricacies, or being even trigger happy with your traps is also another issue. Like that's I don't recommend it, but I do recommend it if you are a control-based player and you want to challenge yourself. It is super rewarding. It was super rewarding for me to watch. I can't imagine being in your seat.
Yeah, I was talking with Gabe Susi after the tournament and giving him my rundown, because I, played it and theoried with him, and he was like, yeah, every time you win a game with this deck, you feel deserved, because there's very, very little things. If you misplay with this deck, you will most likely lose the game, and that's just like the harsh reality of it. There's like no really like free way. You have to play very perfect, where it's close to perfect in terms of every interaction, and if you do, you come up on top. And this deck for me was a deck that I really wanted to play, also alongside like Prank Kids, which I played at the last Extravaganza, mainly because it felt more like Yu-Gi-Oh to me. The turns that, like for example, in the finals of Sunday Giant Card, there were 16 turns back and forth between me and my opponent, and that felt more like Yu-Gi-Oh to me than just playing Dragon Link and FTKing my opponent. And it also taught me to like be patient, right? Like if you guys saw me when I played the Boap Shaddoll deck, the budget Shaddoll trap deck, like Extravaganza, 2 Extravaganzas ago, like being patient with your trap cards and your interactions allows you to like, just makes your opponent scramble a bit, because they're always like trying to, bait it out. But I'm just like sitting there like, okay, unless you use Phoenix or a Twin Twister or something that literally I have to chain to it, I'm just sitting there until I find the right opportune time to make sure that my card like just goes like 1 for 4 or devastates you completely. Because even Punishment, for example, right, seems like a card that you pop one, you pop another one with Intis, but in reality it's actually more cards than that, because when they start making like Heretic Seal and using a lot of extra bodies to make all these plays, and you get rid of like 2 cards, and they converted, like they took like 3-4 cards to make it, Punishment in fact becomes more than just a +1, right? Like popping an extra card, it becomes like a +2 or 3, because you're getting rid of more than 1 card when they link climb and all that.
You're like
stuff.
disrupting their flow disruption.
exactly.
Like the tempo disruption is also extremely valuable, especially in this day and age in Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's not just about the plus. Like there's a lot of decks like, well, Konami tries to kill 1-card combos, like say 2-card combos. Like they only need those 2 cards to basically guarantee a secure spot in a winning position. But if you're able to disrupt the flow, that's fine. Like even if you're trading 1 or 2 cards for the flow disruption, they have to end turn, and that means you get an opportunity to completely just dominate them after. Like, a concept that a lot of newer players aren't exactly aware of is understanding the flow of your opponent.
Yeah, there's actually one time where I cracked my opponent's entire Dragon Link board, because I went Punishment, target my opponent's Seal at end phase. I sent Titanic Clad and used its effect to summon Ecclesia. I went chain 1 Ecclesia, and then I chain 2 Torrent, and I mean, he just lost his entire like engine. So I just won. I searched another Punishment, and he was on no cards. So like there's just so many cool interactions you can do with this deck that, like I said, it really rewards you for like playing really well. So I like those type of decks. They're for me. So.
Okay. Aside from Dragon Slaying, now we got the Giant Card Day 2. This is the one that you won. So now you have not only a mini giant card coming, you also have a giant card coming.
Yeah.
So that one's different. This one has a bit more variety to show the versatility of the deck. So not only are you a Dragon Meta Slayer, a Meta Dragon Slayer, you're also a versatile deck to adapt to the other decks in the format.
Yeah. I played against a Glad Beast player. So that was like pretty, I would say, easy, mainly because because they're a rogue deck, they need a lot of cards to like do their combo, and unfortunately for the Glad Beast player, I like knew exactly what all of his cards did, so I like just torrent him at the right time, not letting him get to Test Panther. Then he just immediately lost because he can't get another way to 2 extra bodies on the field to make Test Panther to make his play going. Against he also activated in like the what is it, in the same column as Broken Line, so he lost an extra card for no reason. And then I played against a dealing player, which 2-0 again. It's just the deck is definitely designed to beat Dragon Link. A lot of the trap cards are just like way too impactful.
They're just beating combo at this point.
Yeah, and then yeah, like combo decks have a very low chance. And I play against also a trap noble deck. He was playing like basically a Noble Knight deck that drew a lot of cards with Auroradon, and he was trying to draw trap cards. So he was playing like Wing Blast, Solemn Strike, like IDPs. But all those trap cards does nothing to my deck, quite frankly. And the thing is, whenever I summon Lord, because I don't play hand traps like Ash or Bell, there's never another zombie in my graveyard. In fact, I have no monsters in my graveyard. I just keep attacking with Lord until they get rid of it, and that's when I use Lord effect to summon back. So, and because of that, like I just never, like I just 2-0'd him as well. Like he just couldn't really beat trap cards when his trap cards don't do anything to mine. So that was pretty okay. And then I played like 2 Shaddolls back to back, so that was pretty good too. I would say the Shaddol matchup is really insane. Like I said, punishment in your deck is a lot better than their deck, because once they start punishing me or using punishment on my cards, that's when I started like going a lot more aggro, because I know that they can't El Shaddol or they can't Schism during my turn. So it just like makes it so I can go for pushes and like clear their back row without like fear of like fusion plays. So and then of course I signed an Aerial for their matchup, which is ironic, using Aerial to beat the Shaddol matchup, because I would just banish all their schisms, their fusions, and all that good stuff too. So they just lose their engine. And when you play against Shaddol and Invoke Dogma, the deck is not meant to grind. If you look at the Shaddol count and you look at the way the deck is built, it's meant to blow you out by turn 2. And if it doesn't do that, then it's going to run out of engine really fast. Alisher starts becoming a useless normal summon in the mid game when you have no more invoked monster to go into.
Yeah.
And when you go through your Mecha Buzz, like that doesn't do anything against my deck because I don't activate any monster effects.
Yep.
And even if I activate Lord in the hand, like it just doesn't mean anything. So yeah, it was, I would say like every matchup so far has been very favorable. The only time I lose, like I said, is to reboot. Like all that good.
That's a 1-up though. That's a 1-up. Luckily, it's limited.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't limited, I would not try to play this deck, because that means the blowout chances are just way too high. Yeah, for sure. Okay, but you definitely showed how this deck works out. I think this deck is currently ahead of its time. Don't you think so? I think it's ahead of its time. I think you're going to reshape the meta with this. So hit the like button right now. Hit the like button right now. Go to Pack's channel. Listen to him, watch his stream. There's actually a lot to learn when you watch someone like Pack play, and you're also very entertaining. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, happy to share this list. Yeah.
Yo, guys, we have reached the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. You guys hit the like, hit subscribe, ding notification bell. Any shoutouts you want to give, Pack?
No, just shout out to Gabriel Susi, shout out to Susi for lending me the BLS, shout out to my team, Luxury Gaming, and yeah, shout out to just basically my Twitch chat and all the fans. You guys are insane. So that's all I have to really say. If
you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, like the epic binder, like those evenly matches have to go somewhere. They're gonna go to some binder that's gonna be given away. If you want to stay tuned for that, subscribe to MST.TV. I've got actually a ruling segment coming up about a lot of the procedural errors that can be prevented, and a lot of these are completely game breaking if you let them go through. They will undeservingly win a game through a procedural error, and I wanted to talk about that. There's actually quite a few in the current format, surprisingly. So subscribe to listen to that. Until next time, that's all I got for this one. Anything to add? No?
That's it.
All right.
See you guys in the next one.
See you guys in the next one.